All right, everybody, how's it going? It is Monday, December 31st, 2018, and that means it's New Year's Eve, so Happy New Year's to everybody, depending on when you're watching this. I hope you've had a good holiday. I hope you've enjoyed the NFL regular season, as that is officially now over after yesterday's slate of games. Hopefully, you enjoyed the season. Hopefully, your team is going to be talked about in this NFL Wild Card Weekend Pick'em edition, so let's jump right into it. Of course, the season's over, my Lions didn't make the playoffs, but my Patriots did. They're not playing this weekend, so I really don't have a vested interest in this, other than hopefully seeing certain teams lose, like the Ravens and maybe the Chargers. Somehow they both lose, but that's not possible as they play each other. But anyway, let's hop right into the picks and see who we got for Saturday. We have the Saturday matchups, and we'll go over these a little bit, in depth because there's only 4 picks to go over, so we have the Indianapolis Colts heading down into Houston to play, the Houston Texans. The Colts went 10-6. Houston went 11-5 to win the AFC South. The Indianapolis Colts won the essential one-game playoff against the Tennessee Titans last night to clinch the number 6 seed and advance to the playoffs to go next weekend. And of course, here are the way the season broke down for the teams. They had a 1-1 split. This game will be played in Houston. The last game, the Colts won 24-21 while in Houston, so that's something to think about. And what this will come down to, I believe, will which defense can actually make a big stop late in the game to give their team the victory. And the reason I think it's going to come down to that is both teams have tremendous offenses led by strong quarterbacks. They have decent receiving game. You have Hopkins for the Texans. You've got Eric Ebron and T.Y. Hilton for the Colts, who are kind of combined to make a Hopkins. So you have those sort of even. The running game for the Colts, I give them the advantage of. I think Marlon Mack's a lot more consistent of a runner than whatever the hell the Texans are using in Lamar Miller and somebody. So I put two advantages to the Colts. I mean, Andrew Luck's a better quarterback than Deshaun Watson at this point in their careers. No offense to Deshaun, great quarterback, great potential, but I will give the edge to the Colts. The defense, that's not even close. It goes to the Colts. They don't have as bad a secondary as the Houston Texans do. They have a better front seven, sort of, depending on how you look at it. The defensive line of the Colts is suspect, but the linebacking core is just as good, a little bit less. Leonard had a great season. I like the Colts' offensive line more than I like the Houston's offensive line, and that could become a problem in the game. Deshaun might be rushed, make bad throws. With the extra pressure of it being a playoff game, I can see him making a bad decision and throwing a pick or two. Um, but yeah, that's really what it comes down to is what defense is going to do something, because their offenses are pretty evenly matched. When you really break it down, slight advantage to the Colts for the running game and the better quarterback, but I would give the receiving core of the Texans a bit of an advantage. They can get down the field too. Um, Even though Luck threw for more yards, I think he threw for more touchdowns, less picks by Watson, but he ran a lot more. He got sacked. Lux was only sacked like 18 times, whereas Watson was sacked 62 times. Jonathan Joseph is the only thing in the secondary. The Colts have something going on. They held the they held the Titans to like 10 points, and they couldn't throw the ball at all. So I like the Colts in that. I also think the Colts defense will make the stops. I think Darius Leonard and company will be able to at least make one stop late in the game, whereas I think the secondary of the Texans will be too suspect. I think Andrew Luck's going to have a big game throwing the ball around on just Jonathan Joseph. I mean, that's all they got. Um, and if there's any kind of lead gained by the Colts, like if they get out to an early lead, I think they can pretty much ice the game running with Joseph all over the place, especially if you can get past the front seven and run kind of deep. Um, yeah. Again, I like the Colts winning this game, 28-24. I think they have a better defense, and that's what it's really going to come down to. Which defense will stop one of these offenses? And I think it's going to be the Colts making the stop. Give me the Colts 28-24, and they'll advance to play, I believe, the Chiefs. And then we have the NFC matchup for Saturday, which is the Seattle Seahawks and Dallas Cowboys. Both teams went 10-6. The Cowboys won the NFC East, and Seattle is the number 5 seed in the NFC wild card, you know, picture. The Seahawks played them and they won they are 1-0 against the Cowboys this year. This game will be played in Dallas, so that's kind of important considering the fact that you know Dallas plays really well at home, 7-1. The last game, Seattle won 24-13 in Seattle. So that's kind of like a yes, of course, you're not going to win in Seattle. Nobody really wins in Seattle. But I think this game will ultimately come down to quarterback play. And I think everyone can agree that's what this game will come down to. They both have pretty good defenses. The slight nod goes to Dallas. The running game, slight nod goes to Dallas. Even though the Seahawks, I think, have a better running game. Actually, no, never mind. Slight nod goes to the Seahawks because I think as though the Cowboys have the better running back, I think the Seahawks have the best running game in the NFL. They average the most yards. They're very good at that. The defenses, again, not that far off for the Seahawks of the Cowboys, but that goes to the Cowboys. So, and then it comes down to like the quarterbacks. Really, when you look at it, what's this game going to come down to? Quarterback play. Is that going to play well enough? Is Dak going to make any mistakes? Is he going to throw interceptions, make forced throws? Is he going to fucking panic when he's being, you know, when the pressure comes in? Is he going to fold? It's just one of those things where you have to look at the quarterbacks in this game. What Russell's been here, Dak really hasn't. Russell can win these playoff games. We've seen him do it. We can trust Russell Wilson completely in the playoffs. He's had one bad playoff game, really, and that no, one bad playoff throw, and that was not audibling out of that run on the 1 yard line, and then he threw it. Not run, whatever. We all know about how they should have ran the ball. Shoot. Anyway, quarterback play, which makes less. Yeah, the quarterback play is going to decide this game, and I think Dak. You know, I know they won that shootout yesterday, but like, do you really trust Dak Prescott if they were to fall behind in this game, to come back to lead his team down the road? If Seattle can interrupt the way Dallas has to win, get ahead early, pawn the ball about 30 times with Zeke, and let your defense make big plays. That's how Dallas has to win. If Seattle can interrupt that specific formula we all know the Dallas Cowboys have to have in order to win. I don't think the Cowboys can overcome it. Also, the Cowboys defense, the one that held Drew Brees and them to about 10 points, they've been really bad the last 4 weeks. They've gotten torched by like the fucking Giants just put up 400 points. So I'm a little weary on what's going on with the Giants or with the Cowboys defense going into this game. They might be getting tired. Van Der Esch is a little banged up. He got his shin hurt, so I wonder how bad that actually is going to be going forward. Um, the coaching staff of the Seahawks is also going to be a big deal. They're a much better coach team. They have much more experienced coaches, and in a game that's going to be close, like a lot of these games are all going to be close, but this Cowboys Seahawks game is the hardest kind of one to predict, other than the Ravens and Chargers. But I like the fact that Seattle's got the better quarterback in the playoffs. I like the fact that Seattle's been there with the coaching staff. Their defense, I'm not too sure about. They'll get in dogfights and they'll give up some points sometimes, but I don't know. This is going to be a good game, and I really think the Seahawks, because they have the better quarterback, because he's going to make less mistakes than Dak will, because he's been there, and he's not going to feel as much pressure as Dak Prescott. I think that's going to be the reason why the Seattle Seahawks win this game and advance to the divisional round of the playoffs. I think the Seahawks win 21-17 based on better quarterback play, and yeah, that's really what it's going to come down to. Quarterback play. 21-17 Seahawks win. Let's go ahead and go to the Sunday matchups. Um, we have the Los Angeles Chargers heading into Baltimore to play the Ravens, and let's look at how this all breaks down. We have the seasonal record. The Ravens are 1-0 against the Chargers this year. They won the game. The game's going to be played in Baltimore, obviously, as the Baltimore Ravens are the AFC North champions, and the Los Angeles Chargers are the number 5 seed in the AFC wild card. The last game, the Ravens won 22-10 in Los Angeles. Something to take of note. Not really a big deal because the Chargers are 7-1 on the road this year, meaning most of their losses, they have 3 losses at home. Not that so this game not it's kind of a big deal that it's being played in Baltimore because you have one of the better road teams in football, which is the Chargers, probably the best road team in football, the Chargers, heading into a team with a rookie quarterback. Uh, and that's where the defense that's what's going to make the difference in this game. How well does Lamar Jackson handle the stage of being in the playoffs, having to win or the season's over? Huge stage. All the pressure is on him at this point. He handled it well against Cleveland, having to win. He handled it well against the Chargers, having to win. So it seems to me that this young man, Lamar Jackson, is capable of handling the pressure in big games. But the playoffs are a whole different beast. We've seen it, and we've always heard that. and I'm wondering how well is he going to do. Also, I know the Chargers had no answer for the Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens the first time they played each other. They had no idea how to defend the man. Now they're going to be seeing him for a second time inside of a month. That's going to mean that the Chargers are used to it. They're the way he plays is fresh in the minds of everybody. They're going to have a little bit of tape to look at from the way they played him before. They're going to have tape from other teams. There's a bigger sampling size on how to beat the guy, even though he's only lost once. But there's tape now. The second time they played him, they know what his speed is. They know how he can throw it. They know his little idiosyncrasies or whatever. I can't say that word, but so we'll see if that plays dividends, playing him so closely after they've already played each other. And I think that actually does pay off, as I think the Chargers are going to end up winning this game 17-14 based on the experience of the Chargers. Phillip Rivers has been here before. They're good on the road. They're playing Lamar Jackson for the second time inside of a month, which actually does favor the Chargers. They're going to know how to play him better. Everything I just said, the speed of the kid, that won't come at such a raw surprise. Um, they're a very good road team. I mean, it's hard to pick against Baltimore, but they also did just struggle to beat the Browns. So, if you can play a certain style of football against the Ravens, you can kind of see how you can beat them. And the Browns almost did that again. And yeah, so I like the Chargers to beat the Ravens 17-14, but was the hardest game to figure out simply because, dude, it's hard to bet against Lamar Jackson because he's had such a good year, but I also think that I just don't know how well a rookie quarterback's going to handle the stage. I don't know how well he's going to handle a defense that's adjusted specifically to how he plays football, which is what the Chargers are going to do now because, again, they've played him so recently. Now they get him again. It's very nice for the Chargers. Hard to beat a team twice. Hard for a rookie quarterback to, I don't know. It's just the rookie quarterback thing has got me really shook up. The defense of the Chargers and the Ravens are obviously elite level defenses. The Chargers can spread the ball down the field a little bit more than the Ravens can. They have a better vertical offense. If Melvin Gordon's healthy, they can run the ball just as well as the Ravens can. So the advantage is to the Chargers, especially like in the quarterback position. The defense of the Ravens is better, but the Chargers defense isn't anything to balk at either. Um, and if they force Lamar to have to throw the ball more toward the end, should the Chargers get any kind of a lead, I think that's another big thing. How's Lamar going to have to, when he's forced to throw it in a playoff game because they can't afford him to run it and kill clock? How does he manage throwing it against a really good defense? Melvin Ingram, he's going to have to throw against. He's going to have to throw against Derwin James. It's just nasty. It's going to be a fun game. Probably the best game of the wild card weekend will be this Baltimore and Los Angeles game. So I like the Chargers 17-14. They have the way advantage on the quarterback. They have the better offense. So and yeah, and it's going to really come down to how Lamar handles it. And I think he's going to play all right, but I think he's going to make a lot of mistakes. And now let's see, we have the 4:40 p.m. Eastern Standard Time game, which is the number 3 Chicago Bears, the NFC North champions, hosting the number 6 seed Philadelphia Eagles, the defending Super Bowl champions, in a game that Chicago is probably going to destroy the Philadelphia Eagles and all that remains of the team. They did not play each other this year. This game will be held in Chicago, and I think this game will actually come down to the quarterback play for both teams. Now, does Nick Foles continue the Nick Foles magic and just keep running? He went 25 of 25 at one point yesterday. He got banged up and hurt his chest, so I wonder if that's going to be a factor in the game. I don't know how, is he really banged up? Is it not that bad? One of those things. How is Nick Foles going to handle this defense? I don't think he's seen a defense like this in a really long time, if not ever. You got Khalil Mack, you're going to have Akeem Hicks, you're going to have Danny Trevathan, you're going to have Raekwon Smith. You're going to have a problem. You're going to have Eddie Jackson lurking in the secondary trying to pick you off every throw. It's Fuller's out there trying to pick you off every throw. It's one of these things. How's Nick Foles going to handle being potentially hurt, having to deal with that defensive front seven, that secondary with we're going to see how well Nick Foles can actually do against one of the best defenses I personally have ever seen in a long time. and how he plays through that injury he suffered against Washington. And and then, of course, it comes down to the other quarterback. How well is Mitchell Trubisky going to play in the playoffs? He's been a capable game manager for 12 games this year. He hasn't been asked to do too much, and I don't think the Bears are going to ask him to do too much in this game. They're all relying very hard on that defense to really carry this team and guide them to the Super Bowl. But they need Mitch to make as few mistakes as he can make. He's playing a team without a secondary, so they should take advantage of that, do some throwing. Um, they have a pretty good front seven in Philadelphia, so they're going to get pressure in on Mitch and shut down the running game, shut down his mobility, and try to make him stay in the pocket and throw. And, Mitch isn't the greatest thrower. He throws a lot of picks, but I firmly believe, it's not even I think, I know I say I think a lot, you can get over that, but I firmly believe that the Bears defense is going to be too much for Nick Foles. I don't think he's going to have enough time. He's never going to get comfortable. And it's in Chicago, so there's going to be that big advantage for the Bears at home, that nice whippy cold that they get in Chicago, that home field. It's just everything seems to be pointing to the Bears to win this game. They have the vastly superior defense that's going to trouble Nick Foles all game. Um, and, we're going to see Mitch make some mistakes, but I don't think he's going to make enough mistakes that like he's going to have a couple turnovers, but I don't know if those turnovers are going to be done with, like, I don't think the Eagles are going to be able to do anything with those turnovers. I think they're going to go 3-and-out, kick the ball back to the Bears because of how good the Chicago defense is. It is terrifying. They can get after your quarterback. They can stop your running back in the backfield, and they can just do what they please with the ball. We've seen, like, they just can do what they please on defense. And I don't know how well Trubisky's going to play, but again, if he can keep it to under like 3 turnovers, I think he's going to win the game anyway. So, like, that's really, like, let's be honest about how good that defense is and how limited the Eagles seem at times. So, again, that means I like the Bears to win 21-10. Again, Bears win 21-10 over the Eagles pretty handily. The defense is going to be the reason the Bears win. I think he's going to be capable of game managing them to at least one win in the playoffs, especially at home. So, yeah, that's what I like. There we go. So, anyway, that means, as you've already heard my picks for this weekend, I have, of course, the Indianapolis Colts and Los Angeles Chargers winning their games. So Colts will beat the Texans. Chargers will beat the Baltimore Ravens, and that will set up the AFC divisional round as the Indianapolis Colts heading to Kansas City and the Los Angeles Chargers heading to the New England Patriots. And in the NFC side, we have the Seattle Seahawks beating the Dallas Cowboys in a bit of an upset, if you consider it one, to take on the New Orleans Saints in New Orleans. And then we have the Chicago Bears, who should beat the Philadelphia Eagles. That's the game I'm most confident about, is the Eagles getting beat by the Bears. And then the Los Angeles Rams and the Bears will play each other. So, anyway, let's go over the pick'em record really quick. In the regular season, of course, I went 152, 98, and 2, which is good for 60.3%. I'm very happy about my winning percentage this year. Over 60% is what you want to aim for. If you're over that, you had a good year. Congratulations. If not, you can always try again next year, and hopefully you do a little bit better. Hopefully I do a lot better next year. I was a little too close to 100 losses for my own comfort, so I'm glad to see that number fall down. And, of course, my playoff season is I'm 0-0 because the games haven't happened, unless, of course, you count last night, the Colts and the Titans, as kind of a one-game playoff because it was a one-game playoff. Win and you're in. But anyway, those are my picks for the wild card weekend that's coming up here on Saturday. Again, the games start at Saturday at like 4 o'clock and Sunday at 1 o'clock. And yeah, I just want to know. I hope you guys like the picks. Please like the video. If you do, subscribe to the channel if you're new here. Let me know what your picks are down in the comment section below, what you think of my 4 picks this week. Anything you really want to talk about, how the NFL season went, what you're thinking of the playoffs, who might win the Super Bowl, anything you want to talk about, just comment down below and I'll get back to it as soon as I can. What else? That's really it. Hopefully your team is still playing. If not, maybe find the backup team you like to root for and just kind of root for them from a side. Don't worry about being a bandwagon fan right now. Just be like, hey, I don't really like this team. My team's just out of it, blah, blah, blah. But, all right, guys, thank you so much for listening to this DrTV presentation. Can't wait for the playoffs to start. It's finally here, folks. But it's bittersweet because that means no more regular season and all that horrible stuff that comes with football ending. But we got the playoffs. the most exciting time of the football season. Let's go Patriots. Win the Super Bowl. Have a great day.